Hi Hunters, we are back for more Monster Hunter discussion video. In today's video, I'm going to talk about 6 mechanics that Monster Hunter Rise and World did right to make the game more enjoyable for veterans and casuals alike. These mechanics feel so natural as part of the Monster Hunter mechanics, and I think it really needs to be appreciated more since it feels like I'm taking these mechanics for granted and assuming that they're always going to be there. I'm not sure about how you guys feel about these mechanics that I'm going to talk about, so that's why I want to take a look and be critical about all these 6 mechanics today. I truly believe that all of the mechanics should be added into Monster Hunter Wilds, no question, since without them it feels like we are not getting the complete Monster Hunter experience. So, if some of those mechanics end up not in Monster Hunter Wilds, all of us should voice our concern to the developers. But so far, the developers has been treating the game very well when it comes to Monster Hunter World and Monster Hunter Rise, so I have confidence that they will give us great stuff for Monster Hunter Wilds. So, let's see what are the mechanics that I'm really itching to compliment about. The first mechanics is NPC Companions. This is by far the best mechanics that modern Monster Hunter made when it comes to help the general audience, like the casuals or the newcomers. With all honesty, I was quite shocked that this was implemented back in Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, since with my devices I don't have access to online play and I'm too poor to pay for it. And honestly, this is a godsend to help me grind the game a bit better. Also, for Monster Hunting experience, not everyone likes to play online, especially newbies to the game, since they are still not used to the controls and the flow of Monster Hunter gaming experience, unless they play with their close friends. And if you're playing with randos, there are some veteran players get really angry when their hunt is being foiled by new players. So having NPC to help is especially beneficial for new players to get used to the hunt, since the NPCs will heal, aggro, and even Wyvern ride. However, this not only benefits the newbies, but also veterans, since by having NPCs around, they could get the grinding a bit faster, since the NPCs can be a good distraction against the monsters if they don't want to play with randos online. And if I'm not mistaken, having NPCs around you will not scale up the HP of the monsters. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. So yeah, because of that reasons, I think this mechanics or feature is such a great addition in Monster Hunter moving forward. And the second mechanics is Slinger. I don't know about the majority of players, but as for me, honestly speaking, I really like the Slinger mechanics from Monster Hunter World. Not only that it makes the game to feel more immersive with us using whatever we can find in the nature, but to a certain extent, it adds a little bit of strategy when you're hunting by utilizing the environmental traps, hitting the monsters with the right Slinger ammo, or even use the Slinger as part of your weapon combo. I was kinda disappointed when Rise didn't have the Slinger, but I guess the free combat the game provides makes up for it. If Monster Hunter Wilds prioritize immersion and more systematic hunting, Slinger definitely should be back. And if the world is massive, it only makes sense that there are varieties of natural Slinger ammo to be available all around the place. Even for me, I already have so many ideas of what kind of Slinger ammo if I was the developer of Monster Hunter Wilds. And the third mechanics is switch skills. One thing that really innovative about Monster Hunter Rise was the wirebug moves and switch skills. They are so powerful, and I truly believe that some of the moves should be made into permanent movesets to the weapons, since some of the less offensive weapons becomes so much more fun to play, like the sword and shield and lance for example. However, instead of talking about the actual moves that needs to be brought in Monster Hunter Wilds, because that will be a topic for another video, I'm still working on that video, so look forward to that as well. In this video, I want to touch on the system's impact or influence on gaming experience. So, being able to choose which moveset that you want to use makes the game to be more fun to play. Not everyone likes the default moveset that the weapon provides. It could be for many reasons. Maybe it is too slow, not flashy enough, or you want to play more defensively or more offensively, etc. etc. So by introducing the switch skills, it allows players to customize their favorite movesets, which in turn alter their combos to a certain extent as well. This allows players to have more freedom on how they want to play their game, and even to the point that it creates a playstyle that is unique to their own. And I truly believe that having more freedom for players, it is a good thing, most of the time. So when it comes to priority of mechanics to be brought to Monster Hunter Wilds, this one is definitely one of the top that the developers need to consider. I'm not asking for it to have two separate movesets that you can switch on the fly like Monster Hunter Rise, but just the bare minimum to allow us to customize the movesets however we want them to be for our hunt. Before we continue, if you have been liking what you have been hearing so far, do leave a like in this video and subscribe to my channel to help me reach 500 subs by the end of March. Your support really helps turn my life around, since at the moment I'm relying on content creation to make a living. Sorry for the wait, let us continue. And the fourth mechanics will be mounting plus Wyvern riding. I've discussed Wyvern riding as a mechanics in length in my video. I really suggest you checking that out to get a full discussion about Wyvern riding and why is it important. After making a poll and looking through the comment on that video, most of my viewers preferred mounting over Wyvern riding, which I really respect and it is totally understandable. But as for my stance on it, in essence, I truly think that it is better to limit the access to Wyvern riding and make mounting as the default mechanics, and make Wyvern riding only accessible through a special way, like a skill for example. Of course, we need to acknowledge that both systems have their own pros and cons, but when it comes to gameplay balance, engagement, and immersion, mounting is a much better mechanic for it. Because for mounting, you need to pay attention to your positioning while you're on the monster to make sure you don't get slammed into the wall or when they are trying to shake you off, which is unlike Wyvern riding that mostly only requires you to dodge and attack. For those who don't know, back in Monster Hunter 4, the mount system was only all about spamming the stab button and hold the brace button when the monster is retaliating. Looking back, I actually never realized that they made such a change in Monster Hunter World. In my mind, I always think that during mounting, we can always move around the monster's body part. It is such a small change, but the impact for gaming experience is so much better. And thanks to that, I gain more confidence with the developers when it comes to making new and more interesting and engaging core mechanics in their games. As it was proven by Monster Hunter Rise with all of their mechanics, though it did split the fan base to a certain extent, since there's no game that is made for everyone. And the next mechanics is Scoutfly or other tracking system. In older game, in order to find your target monster, you need to manually roam around the area until you're familiar or even memorize where the monster would spawn, which is very tough for newcomers. The other way to do it is either to use Psycho Serum or raving to the hot air balloon or even using the foot skill. I'm one of those old generation hunters that really enjoy tracking, and I truly believe that Monster Hunter without tracking doesn't feel like Monster Hunter. Which is why I felt something was missing when I played Monster Hunter Rise until its completion. In Rise, I feel that we don't get the full hunting experience because we already know where the monsters are, and the non-stop combat really blurs you from the other elements what makes Monster Hunter special. As for me, because of all of that reason, Monster Hunter World feels like it's a more complete hunting experience, since as you track the monster, you get to stop by and collect some materials, interacting and enjoying the environments, and even think about your hunting progress. And Monster Hunter Rise, you can get to the monster location very fast thanks to the wire bugs and the Polymute. Bear in mind that this is not necessarily a bad thing, but it doesn't satiate some of the players that is looking for a hunting experience, not a non-stop combat. With Monster Hunter Wild seems like it's going to be the biggest Monster Hunter yet, I think they might need to revamp the whole tracking system in the game, and if it's being handled like Rise, I think it is going to make a certain portion of fanbase to be really upset. So I hope the developers are aware on how much the fanbase values exploration and monster tracking in the Monster Hunter game. And the last mechanics for this video is Turf War. I would say out of all the mechanics that we have talked so far, personally Turf War is easily my favorite. Not only does it add so much depth into the world immersion by displaying power levels of monsters and their relationship with each other, but most importantly, it is very pleasing to witness. I guarantee that all players that witness a turf war for the first time was mesmerized by the spectacle of two giant monsters fighting against each other. I bet you also stop attacking the monsters and just pause there and watch. Am I right? Just admit it, hunters. Just want to share a little bit, my favorite turf war of all times are all of the Rajang turf war, notably 3 of them. First is Rajang versus Falhazak, at which Falhazak spews effluvia on Rajang, and Rajang just hug and slam Falhazak to the ground, as you guys can see on the clip that is currently being played. And another one of my favorite will be Rajang versus Devil Joe, at which Devil Joe bites on Rajang and even managed to bring it back into its mouth until Rajang turns Super Saiyan, open Devil Joe's mouth with its hand, and then just punch it on the face. It's so freaking epic, guys. And lastly, it's Rajang versus Nergigante. This exchange is so freaking sick. Rajang gets on top of Nergigante, Nergigante slams it down, then Rajang turns Super Saiyan and do a Shoryuken, sorry, a fighting game fanboy here, or should I say uppercut, and Nergigante pays back with a bitch slap across the map. It's so freaking sick, guys. Turf War is one of the reasons why I fucking love Monster Hunter World. That's why I was very disappointed back in Monster Hunter Rise, since it was so hard to trigger Turf War in that game, since the game prioritized Wyvern riding over the Turf War. And as for Monster Hunter Wilds, I think they need to expand the Turf War system even more, with I think almost all of the monsters should have Turf War against each other, or even the bond mechanics that Teostra and Lunastra have. So many more monsters actually have a friendly relationship with each other. With the next generation graphics for Monster Hunter Wilds, I believe this will be one of the best spectacles that ever exists when it comes to monster versus monster visuals. Alright, that's all of the mechanics that the modern Monster Hunter games have given us that they did extremely well, to the point that it becomes an identity of Monster Hunter series moving forward. As long as the developers keep providing us with this kind of high quality mechanics, Monster Hunter franchise will always have a special place in the gaming industry and continue to be successful. Anyway, what are your thoughts about these mechanics? And if there are any other mechanics that you think that I should have mentioned in this video, do let everyone know in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching, and once again, don't forget to press the subscribe button. If you are new around here, it will make my life become so much better. And of course, for you guys, you will get to hear more my grumpy voice talking about Monster Hunter. Until the next video, stay sharp, hunters.